We live. What's going on, family? We gonna let the room fill up. I'm gonna pray my brother Chad G in, and I'm gonna let the spirit take over. Higher power come in. Whatever you choose to call your God, gift of desperation, good old dependability, get off of drugs, grow up or die. Um, Whatever you choose to call your higher power, I choose to call mine God, right? And if people are just coming on, this brother right here, man, I personally know, and he definitely works a program, and it's very important. Like, did we get experience, not opinions? And I'm gonna go ahead and let this room fill up. If you're first coming on to Inspirational Freestyle Recovery Flow, like, welcome, like we love you, like we believe in you, like we need you. Like when they hugged me at the door, that was my It took a lot, man, for them to actually surrender, to this program that I choose to work. And if you're just coming on Inspirational Freestyle Recovery Flow, like drop in the comments, the routine, what you're grateful for, your clean date, your location, where you're located from. I appreciate each and every one of you that been on. I'm gonna pray you in, brother, and I'm gonna go ahead and turn you over to the people, man. And I'm gonna hit the introduction. I don't know if you ever heard me hit the introduction. All right. Lord Almighty God, I just want you to place hands on my brother Chad if he struggles with any low self-worth or any lack of confidence or any low self-esteem, that you just remove that off him. If any satanic evil spirit or demonic spirit is trying to come in on this live, that you just rebuke it, Lord, and just place a positive message that Chad just gets honest and transparent and vulnerable tonight, and just touches that one hopeless addict that thinks that there ain't no hope, that is close-minded, this is just sitting inside a disease. And to the people that are clean and that are passion people, just open their heart up, just approach people with love, Lord God, and just be with us on this stream right now. And it's all God. Amen. Inspirational
Thanks, Carl.
freestyle recovery flow. Come on, y'all. Let's get this thing shared out. Share this throughout the group. Get the watch party set up. I brought my brother Chad with us. Go ahead, man. Floor is yours.
Thank you, Carl. Thanks for having me on here tonight. It's an honor and a pleasure. So my name's Chad G. I'm from Charleroi, Pennsylvania. We got clean June 21st, 2015. God willing, next month we'll be celebrating 5 years. And so I really like the introduction and did a lot of praying before I got the opportunity to speak for any people. I didn't think I'd be on my knees praying in my own bathroom. So it's good to get on here tonight with this whole quarantine stuff. Hasn't been a whole lot of meetings, so it's good to be involved this way. So I first wanted to say, if there's any veterans that are on here and any veterans that are struggling to get a day clean, I want you to know that there's hope, and there's a bunch of us out here. We love you, and there's a way out. There's definitely a way out. I grew up here in Charleroi, and I was just a confused young kid. Grew up kind of poor, was really bad. I was on the phone with my attorney earlier, and it took me back because he was the attorney that worked for the school to expel me, and he ended up being the guy that has been there through a lot of my journey and helped me out through a lot of my legal stuff. So, I grew up scared, insecure. My deepest rooted fear was probably like, how am I going to take care of mom? How am I going to keep my mom and my brother and sisters safe? And that was just pretty much the core operating belief of me, was how am I going to protect them? Whether I was a kid thinking I needed to take care of them, protect adults or whatever, that's just how I felt. I was always scared. And it took me a long time to grow up and say, hey, I'm scared. So I always thought that I had to overcompensate with like ego, money, property, prestige, And if I mention God, I say that in a sense of whatever God that you choose to believe in. So the earliest experience that I had, because I really never believed in anything, I was a kid, and I asked my mother, I was like, I had all sisters, and I asked my mother, I said, I really want a brother. And she had told me, she said, well, pray. And if you have a brother, God wanted you to have a brother. So we weren't religious or anything. So I prayed and I begged God for a brother. And then I got this little brother. And I was like, this is the most precious, most important thing in the entire world to me. Like, this is my little brother. I'm going to protect him. I'm going to do anything in my life to take care of him. And, I have two sisters that I love very much, and my mother. So, I'm like teenager. I get introduced to drugs and alcohol. I thought that stuff was cool. I was all into basketball and art until, I tried some pot, and then it was on. And like after I started making money, dealing things, that's when I was like, shit, I don't even want to smoke no more. I just want money. And it was just me trying to climb out of this poor, insecure kid that I was. Like I used to go to school with the same old sweatpants that had holes in it with all little fuzzy balls on it. And everybody made fun of me. And I broke my teeth playing hockey. And the cheerleaders used to like, get your teeth fixed, stuff like that. And it just made me really insecure. And I just wanted to like feel good, feel better, look better, buy nicer things. Like I just wanted to be like normal kids. And I just didn't have that normal of a home life. But I had a good family. The lights had been out. We couldn't pay for a TV at Rent-A-Center. They'd come take our shit. And that's just how it went down. So I'm like, I developed a strong work ethic. And I'm like, I'm going to work and start this business and make this money. And I'm going to make things okay for my poor ass family. And really, I'm just developing all these defects of character and ways of making myself be in denial of what is truly going on and how I truly feel. And I'm completely out of touch with, like, I'm fucked up. I'm just a fucking scared kid. So I got in a lot of trouble. I got in a lot of fights. I got in a lot of trouble. I got arrested a bunch of times. And I remember I was 19. I thought my way out was going to the military. So I went to the Army, the infantry. I thought it was great. I got this macho ass job. I'm doing it. I'm fucking G.I. Joe. And really what happened is I'm getting paid less to fight for my country than people that are managers at McDonald's flipping fucking cheeseburgers. And I got hurt. Like, my neck and my shoulders going to be fucked up for the rest of my life. And I mentally, this isn't like a boo-hoo veteran story. I mean, it just fucked my head up. We were over there too long. We shouldn't have been there in the first place. So I'm a young kid trying to find a way out, and I just dug a deeper hole. I drank every day of my life that I wasn't on duty, and I leave, like I went deaf in my right ear. They're like, you can't even be a sergeant in the infantry no more. So I get out. I come back. It's an epidemic. It's a recession. I was engaged to a woman from Kosovo that lived in Germany. I come home from Germany. Little do I know, I give my family power of attorney. My finances are fucked. I'm very deep in debt whenever I thought I was coming home with a bank full of money. My fiance is over there fucking some German guy. And I just came back from the war. I ended up in a basement of my house that I bought and I moved my family into because I'm like, I'm going to protect them. They're going to be here. They're going to be safe. And I always remember this one thing when I say that because I'd seen that movie American Gangster. And I just remember I seen Frank Lucas bring his mother and all of his family up from the South. And they're looking at this big, nice ass house. And it's this poor family. And she's like, Frank, what is that? And he's like, that's your house, Mom. And all I wanted in my fucking life was to do that for my mom. So I did that. I came home, I bought this house. I didn't know that the house was on its way to being taken from me. My bank account and my credit's destroyed. My fiance's cheating. And at that time, I tried partying a little bit of drugs before I went, but not much. And when I was in, I didn't do nothing but drink. So now here I am. I run in painkillers and I'm using this stuff recreationally. So is everybody. And I used with my sister. I used with my stepdad. I used with everybody. And I remember my little cousin was selling heroin. And I was like, you're never, ever allowed in my house again. You're never allowed to step foot in. And I swear to God, I had a needle in my arm before he did. And it was only about a month and a half later. So I went from, what I was doing in my life in the military to no identity, lost, in debt, drug. I don't even know I'm a drug addict. And I end up in the basement of that house with my dog. My dog's 17. My whole family I was trying to protect left me in this house to die with my dog. My dog's dying, I'm dying. And I remember I thought religion was what was going to save me. Like, God's going to save me. And I found out God isn't a fucking magician. Like, you're not going to rub a lamp and some big blue God comes out. He's like, hey, crackhead, I'm going to fucking save you because you're not willing to get up and help yourself. I just didn't know. I just thought, like, I'm so void of any good things inside of my heart anymore. My whole life is ruined. I just want to die. And there's no hope for somebody like me. And everybody just thought I was this disgusting person. And I sat there in the dark with no utilities, selling pot, smoking crack, shooting heroin, reading the Bible for 2 months in the dark. Eventually, I had to put my dog down, and I'm fucking all alone, man. And I struggled in and out of different facilities and rehabs and this and that. And I tried religion. I tried this facility. And I had never really done meetings, but I got introduced to the VA to some 12-step fellowship stuff. And throughout that, I got introduced to people in a fellowship, but I didn't really understand, like, people, places, and things. I didn't understand, like, hey, I'm doing good. I'm going to go back to the hood, and I'm going to hang out with people and, like, show this pretty girl or whatever, hey, I'm not, like, a little, like, gray-skinned, stinky fucking crackhead no more. Like, I'm cool. I'm doing all right. And I find myself in a trap house with people, but I'm not going to use, right? And I didn't understand, like, I can't do that shit. If I take my body and I put it into the problem, I'm never going to be part of the solution. I was arrogant. I was ignorant. I was naive. And we learned through experience. I learned through the experience of falling flat on my motherfucking face 100 times. I'm lucky to be alive. So I remember the one time my baby sister Brown, we used to use together, and we got high together one time, and I overdosed, and I was dead for about 27 minutes. My little sister, she's pumping air, like she's pumping my chest and blowing air into my lungs. And when I woke up, I had this paramedic over me, and he was a veteran too. And I just remember him screaming in my face. He's like, you're lucky to be alive. He said, because you've been fucking dead for 27 minutes. And your little sister's laying there. She can't breathe. He said, giving CPR to somebody that long is like running the Olympics. And she's crying. She can't breathe. He's like, there's a 7% chance that works administered by somebody that's not a medical professional. So whatever you're here for and you're not dead, it's got to be important. And the only reason you're not in jail is because we've seen your uniform and we're going to give you another shot. So I just haven't seen my sister in a while, and it really, like, I just miss her, man. She saved my fucking life. So anyways, my business became my higher power. I started this business, me and my mom and my other sister, in the end, because, like, I'm doing my business. One of my clients comes and they have my drug of choice. I used, and I had about 9 months, and then I used, and then here I found myself at the end of a 9-month run. There's no food, there's no water, there's no nothing. And I had been sick for about 3 days. My mother's crying over me every day. She thinks I'm going to die. And I remember getting up in the dark and walking into the other room. I never actually felt that empty. If you've ever been there, you know what I'm talking about. And if you're there now, you can fucking feel what I'm telling you because you know how horrible it is. I go into the room in the dark and I got on my knees and I heard my old grand sponsor say it one time, and he said, if you're not praying, you're not staying. So I go in a room and I remember getting on my knees because I just wanted, and I remember begging God. I was like, I'll do anything to get out of here. And I'm crying so hard I can't breathe. I'm holding my chest. I got tears pouring down my face. But I felt that, like being in the care of. Sometimes we don't understand what being in the care of is, that I'm so hurt and I'm so lost. Maybe I'm right where I'm supposed to be to go where I'm supposed to go. Maybe I was fucking broken so that everything that I thought I was destroyed. And I begged God, I said, please, please, if you get me out of here, I'll give you every breath that my body ever takes from this moment on. I swear to God, I woke up the next day, I started putting the work in, I started taking actions. And you know what? I ended up in this rehab, this crazy ass rehab. And what was weird is I knew some of the people that worked there. They say that damn near nobody ever got clean there because they load you up pretty good. And they weren't really in the business of trying to get you off of stuff. And I had a little boy, right? The important thing that I hadn't said was, I've got a child. I remember his mother's 5 months pregnant. And this is before I was broken on the floor praying. It was a little bit before that. And I remember thinking, I was loaded, but I went and prayed. And I'm thinking, how am I going to feed this kid? I don't even eat food. I don't fucking eat. Like, how am I going to feed a baby? And I went to the dollar store and I found this book for $2 and it said 1,001 Things It Means to Be Dad. And I opened up this book, and the rule number 1 out of 1,001 things, I opened it up and it said, being dad means becoming heroic. I did not feel like a hero, but I wanted to be a dad. I didn't know how to be a dad. I didn't even know how to be a man, let alone be a fucking dad. And then I woke up on Father's Day, June 21st of 15. They called me up from medicine. I told the guy, I said, I'm just not taking nothing no more. And he was like, bro, I know you. You need this shit. You're coming off a lot of stuff. You need to take that. And I was like, I'm not. God's got my back. And I went throughout the day and I started getting real sick. And I started getting the chills and my knees hurt. And I started shitting myself and I'm puking. And I end up in this room on my knees crying and just sobbing and pissing myself. And I just kept praying the whole time. And the entire time that I was praying, the one thing that stood out to me is I kept remembering a fucking page of that book. And it said, being dad means becoming heroic. I've never taken anything since June 21st, 2015. That was Father's Day. That's the day God gave my son a father. And I've been working and giving every bit of myself that I can to the program. I fall short a lot of times, especially now more than ever. And I still struggle with the same problems that we all do. I'm not unique. I thought I was unique. I thought people couldn't relate to my pain. They couldn't understand what I was going through. They've never been where I've been. And what I found out is if you dig deep enough and you wait long enough and you open your heart up, eventually you're going to meet someone on the path of recovery that's been through, if not closely, but exactly the same thing that you have gone through. And they told me that whatever someone does for me, I'm expected to do in return. And if it's given to me, I have to give it away if I'm going to keep it. So this rehab was out in Uniontown. It's a strong fellowship out there, but there is a group of individuals. They go a little bit further than some people do, and they'll do a little bit of things that are not part of the 12-step program that I'm engaged in. And the reason that I knew I was where I was supposed to be is, believe it or not, I go into my very first meeting out of a desire to stay clean. Like, I never went before because I actually wanted to not do drugs. I went because probation told me. I went because of this and that, and the fucking veterans court was like, you're going to prison if you don't do this. Me and my boy just got out of jail, and I'm sitting there fucking using heroin, and I know I'm gonna die. And I was like, hey, Earl, isn't there some meetings? He's like, yeah, there's a candlelight tonight. So I go down to the candlelight meeting at Club 30 in Charleroi. I'm scared to go in there because I know I fucking robbed everybody in the meeting. And I know everybody in there probably wants to beat the shit out of me. And that there's people in there that's going to judge me. But I got scared enough. I went into the meeting and I'm like, this is going to be cool. It's going to be dark. It's a candlelight meeting. Sure as fuck, I walk in and there's my best friend's stepdad. Hey, how you doing? I'm like, oh, fuck, here we go. Everybody knows who I am. And my two worst enemies were in there. And I see this kid I went to high school with, and we fought. And the last time I seen this guy, him and however many other people were whooping the fuck out of me. I mean, this dude was stomping on my head. That's the last time I seen this guy. And now I'm in a meeting and he's sitting across from me. So the dude that just stomped on my fucking head years ago, I'm supposed to say I'm scared in front of this guy. Like, I'm fucking scared and I'm a grown man. I don't know how to live. I'm embarrassed. I'm so ashamed of myself. And I'm supposed to sit in front of him and say that. Something in me told me, speak up. Like, I had to say something this time and I didn't know why. So I just kind of closed my eyes. And I'm like, I've been using for 6 days. I know I'm going to die. But when I walked in, you know, the guy with all clean time that never fails to fucking mention to you how much clean time he got. Said, I got 30 something. I got so many fucking 80 billion years clean. And I said, hey, look, you guys know how to do this. You got so many years clean. I don't even know in one day unless you lock me in a jail cell. I was like, I've been using for 6 days. I'm scared. I'm going to die. I said, I'll be at the door. I'll be waiting for the phone numbers. You know, like, just give me a hug, a phone number or something. So I stood there, and everybody in the meeting looked at me. And I mean, I might fall into this category because I'm not really running at people that I know that are high on dope and just admitted it. Like, hey, let me help you. I might pass you my phone number. So maybe that's why. Maybe that's my part. Maybe that's where I fucked up. But in my mind at that time, what I was capable of understanding is the hope is here, and this is the miracle. And these people with all this clean time know what to do. And that the fucking miracle is alive and it's real, but I'm not allowed to have it. Everybody there walked out the door. They looked at me, ignored me, and walked out the door. And I'm standing there like, that was it. This is the only place that people like me can get help. And they just fucking left me like I really am that big of a piece of shit. And I'll tell you, my immediate thought, this is where my will and God's will collide. I thought, I'm just coming back here next week because it goes on every week. And I'm fucking killing everybody in this place. That's where I was at. I was so fucking kooky. And then when I walk outside, let me tell you, that dude, Justin S. from Charleroi, the guy that was stomping on my head, was standing there waiting for me. And this is where God's will happen. He came up, and my worst enemy gave me a hug, and he said, I love you, and I believe in you. I'm going to give you my phone number. It's different in Uniontown. They didn't know what that meant. So anyways, I get out that rehab in Uniontown, and I'm going to some meetings. Crazy as shit. Like, there's all kind of weird shit in recovery going on out there. But I went into this one meeting on accident. I got dropped off at the wrong meeting. I seen a bunch of people. My kid's mom drops me off with my baby in a stroller. I go up there. It looks like a fucking, it looked like a political thing. There were so many people outside. I go up in the church, I move the chairs, and like when you walk into this meeting, it's really intimidating. It's a big, scary ass church. It's real quiet. You got all these militant looking fucking dudes in there. You get this small group of women over on the side, and the chairs are lined up. It looks like they used a fucking laser beam to line these things up, and the chairs are facing each other. So the meeting is like staring each other down from two sides. And I moved the chairs. I put the stroller in there. My kid's crawling through the pews. I'm looking around, and all the dudes are looking at me like I'm gonna punch this guy in the face. Like I felt really out of place. And all the women were like cracking up laughing like this motherfucker's lost. Before the meeting starts, this guy comes up. He's like, it's a closed meeting. But unless the baby's an addict, and he started laughing. And I look over, and there's this beautiful older woman, Rhonda, smiling, and she got her arms out. And she said, this girl comes up and she said, my sponsor, Rhonda, said that she'll take your baby so you can do the meeting and watch him. And that day changed my life because I finally seen, I started looking around and there was all these people, but I recognized someone. And this guy looked at me. He said, oh my God, I can't believe you're here. I ain't seen this dude in 10, 15 years. He's like, Chad, I'm so glad you're here. And I went to high school with this guy. I thought he was dead. And then I started looking around the room, and there was that guy and all these people from my hometown. Now, look, I'm telling you, this wasn't like these dudes just went on vacation or they went to rehab. It seemed as though aliens came down in a fucking spaceship and beamed these motherfuckers out of town because they were gone. There was no obituary. Nobody said, hey, so-and-so OD'd and died. They were motherfucking vanished. And I'm looking around the room, and there's all these dudes from my town. And it was like one of those holy shit moments. And they had like 7 to 15 years clean. Like blew my motherfucking mind. I'm like, I can't believe these dudes are here. And they're like, we're so glad you're here. And that's what made me open-minded. I believed it was real. I believed in what they were doing. And I was in real bad shape, man. Like mentally, I was fucking whacked out and my ego was so high and I felt like I had to demonstrate myself as a person. And like, well, I did this and I did that. And like, I had to explain myself to everybody. And really all I needed to do was just shut the fuck up and do what these people were doing. And I didn't know because I was scared. I was in this new environment. And with all these weird people I don't know. And it seems like everyone's interrogating me every day. So I'm going to a meeting every day. I call my sponsor every day for 2 years. I forgot to call my sponsor by 7 o'clock one day in 2 years, and he called me. He's like, is there something wrong? No. I went to 1 to 3 meetings every single day. I was told to pray on my knees morning and night that you cannot go around people, places, and things at all. Most importantly is that you have to help somebody every single day. If you're clean and you're fucking breathing, I'm sitting here. If I haven't done something to help another addict in recovery today, I wasted my fucking life clean for one day. For what reason am I not at least picking up the phone for a sponsee or taking somebody to a meeting or listening whenever someone's kid can't see them because of their custody agreement because daddy smoked his fucking brains out? Why would I not be there for some? Because these people, not only these people, my worst motherfucking enemy of my life, gave me a new life and showed me a new way to live. And I can't believe the guy that was stomping on my head sitting there with me with 8 years clean in the same church. You don't got to go to church to stay clean, but me and this dude are sitting in church praying to God together. Now that's fucking powerful.
Yeah, it is.
So, the one thing that was most important, I really want to thank a guy named Nick L. Nobody wanted shit to do with me. Nobody knew how to handle me. And really, they were just burned out on my crazy shit. And this dude took me into his house for free and said, you could just stay with me. I'm going to love you no matter how fucked up you are. I got your back so you don't feel alone. You want to kill yourself clean? Because the longer I stayed clean, the more I wanted to blow my fucking brains out. And that's why I work the steps. It's the only way for me to get out of me and to grow into something that God wants me to be so I can serve him. And I'm going to my home group, and I shared about how crazy I was feeling. I didn't say I was going to kill myself, but I wanted to kill myself. And my plan was I'm going to leave this meeting and I'm going to kill myself, because I sat up all night, every night, drinking coffee, smoking cigarettes, crying, because I couldn't fucking deal with all the pain in my heart. And I didn't know what to do with myself anymore. And when I was in the meeting, I shared in a roundabout, hey, I'm losing it. And this guy stares at me and just starts screaming. And he's like, I found my identity in helping other people. For whatever reason it was, for whatever reason he said that. That was the thing that I needed to hear. And from that moment, I did everything that I could to always help as many people as I could. And you know what? The more people I helped, the better I felt. The less I felt like a piece of shit, and I felt like I had a reason to be here. So, last thing that I'll say is that little brother, because I didn't know about God, and he was the reason I believed in God. My baby brother watched me take care of my family, and he watched me go to the service, and he watched me pay the bills, and he watched me protect my mother. My little brother looked at me like I was a hero, okay? And it was, to him, it was like watching Superman die. You know, your fucking brother is sleeping outside in a tent, hiding from the cops. And my older brother is a fucking homeless junkie in East Liberty in Pittsburgh. My little brother didn't want nothing to do with me. And I'm helping people. I'm staying clean. I didn't talk to my brother for a long time. My baby brother, he messaged me one day and he said, you know, I wanted to tell you how much I love you and how proud of you and staying clean and changing your life and helping other people. He said, but you're the reason that I believe in God, seeing your life change and recovery. And my dad and my brother ended up overdosing and dying 3 weeks apart whenever I had about 18 months clean. My brother wasn't an addict like me. He just used one time and he died. And all kinds of other bad shit happened. But the two greatest things that recovery and staying clean has ever done for me, and living the steps has given me, is that one, my little brother said, you're the reason in recovery, that your life is the reason that I believe that God's real. And my little brother, or my little boy, you know, my anniversary is next month. We're coming up on 5 years, as long as I make it. And a week later is my little boy's 6th birthday. And he got every motherfucking toy money could buy. And I went from sleeping out in the snow in Pittsburgh to living in a beautiful house. And I have a beautiful relationship. And anybody in my family that's alive is part of my life. I have a business. I have a God that I believe in, that has given all the grace in the world to me. And I wouldn't have a life without you guys. So I always say this. If God's gift to us is life, our gift to God is the way that we live it. That's all. Thank you, guys.
Man, I want to thank you, man, for just jumping on and doing being a vision of hope and carrying the message of hope. You know, what I can identify with, man, is like basically everything you said, man, like coming into the rooms, man, people are my worst enemies. And you know, I built a resentment up because I did a stabbing and it got locked up to the state bid. Got sent to PA though. God was like, we're gonna send you to PA and you're gonna recover in PA and you're gonna get uncomfortable instead of being comfortable and get out your comfort zone. So, you know, they sent me up here, man, and like I can identify with that. But I built resentments up. And who was gonna help me? I didn't surrender and allow another man to help me, right? Hold on, my girl's coming in. Got a dad on her. Yeah, but basically like everything you said, man, and what you've been through, man. You're a vision of hope, man, and I really appreciate you, coming on here with the people and touching a lot of people tonight, man, and doing God's work. And I support you on your journey, man. And it was an honor to hear you share like face to face. You know what I mean? I really appreciate you getting up on here. If anybody got any, we're going to do some questions for like 5 minutes. Anybody got any questions for Chad? Um, Shoot it in there. He'll answer it to the best of ability. We'll answer it with experience if we got it. If y'all got any questions, if not, we're going to shut it down. So shoot some questions up for him if that's what you want to do. That was powerful, man. You could see like God all over your life, man, like all over. You know what I mean? I remember you shared before that time, and and what you've been through is crazy, dude. Like if it ain't God, I don't know what it is.
Yeah.
Anybody got any questions? Send them up. Hey, how you doing? How was you? Was all right? People feeling it, man. You helped a lot of people because some of these people, on here are new to recovery. Some people got like years and years, like 30 years. They watch. It's just an honor, man. God gave me a vision. I'm from Baltimore, but in Washington, PA. Chad's out. Where you out at? Charleroi?
Charleroi, Pennsylvania.
Chad, there you go. There's a question.
Complacency, I would say, yeah. I mean, to me, complacency is like an easy way of saying you're just fucking lazy now. And I wouldn't say so much that I'm lazy. I would say I'm a little burnt out with some things, and I don't have the same amount of tolerance that I had for some other stuff before. That for my personal well-being and my recovery, that I stay very involved daily. I just don't go to as many meetings. Because everybody says I don't go to as many meetings as I used to. I still go to meetings regularly, is every chance that I get. I just don't go to one every single day before, because like I start getting caught up in the environment, and there's so many people that are fresh off the streets that I start getting pulled into that. My defects start getting affected. Like, if you see two people arguing and this person's arguing and they're talking shit, I start doing that stuff again. And now I've had to focus on my home life and growing as a father and custody and, relationship and helping my mother and showing up. I'm in my amends now, and I just stay active. I mean, people that have been clean longer than me, maybe you fall into that. You could say that I'm a little more complacent than I was, but I've always been committed, and I talk to my sponsees every single day. You know what I don't do that I should be doing a hell of a lot more is I don't pray every day.
No, I don't either.
That's the first fucking thing. I should be praying every day. So stay busy. You keep doing.
So where did you get? I got a question. Where did you get at a point of your life when you started to love yourself, man?
I started to love myself after I did 4, 5, 6, and 7. When I gave my sponsor my 5th step, and I felt even a year and a half later guilty about something from my 5th step that I told him, and I thought that he would judge me for, which was only in my head. And I heard someone in a meeting say, I never forgave myself. And I was in the shower one day, and I was thinking, and I was still feeling jammed up and guilty about it. And it hit me. I never forgave myself. And I'm standing there in the shower crying. And it was me. I talked to my sponsor about it. And he was like, I can't even remember your fucking 5th step. And the whole time I'm sitting there thinking, this guy probably thinks some type of way about me, about some stuff I've done. It was only me. And once I let that go, Then I had the defects I had to live with. As I tried to live out 7, 8, and 9 better, that's when I started feeling better about myself, because I was making amends. I was clearing up the wreckage of my past. And if you constantly take positive action, you can't have negative thoughts constantly.
I like that one. They said, how much clean time you got?
Just about 5 years. Next month on the 21st, it'll be 5 years.
Let go and let God. That's what they said.
Thank you, guys.
Yeah, man, it was an honor to just have you, man. I know you'd be busy. I just was like, let me try Chad, man, because I remember you called me, man, when I was that one time I was walking home from work, and you had donated to the movement and believe in what I do. You're the woman, and I don't know, man. Like how I got this 2 years, brother. It's like helping other people, man. For real, not with the fellowship, too, but like mainly, first and foremost, is the vision that God gave me to help other people by spreading just how I feel. I go off a lot of stuff, man. I just call inspirational freestyle recovery flows like it's like a freestyle. Whatever comes to your head, however you're feeling, you just hit the button and go and talk.
What I really like and appreciate about what you guys do, especially you, I don't really get into the stuff that isn't part of the program, but I love the fact of how much everybody is into what you're doing and how many people get connected from so many different places and participate. And it might be the only thing that they get the chance to hear that's hopeful. Because I think a lot of the stuff that we're involved in and we do fellowship wise is so redundant, and you see the same faces and you hear the same and you know what I mean? Like, I'm like, how in the fuck am I supposed to not smoke crack and do heroin, listen to and 1,000 times, listening to these people's kids running around, knocking a key tag holder over, these two over here fucking each other's spouses, this one over here bitching about this person just stole something from their house. And then you're on here doing this, and all these people from all these places are getting connected, and they're hearing other people's experiences. That's hope, man. That's the most important thing. This is one of the most powerful, simple things I ever heard, is that out of all the spiritual things, all the principles, that all the things that God can give, there's only one single thing in the world that is of a spiritual nature that one human being can give to another human being that God hasn't given, that I, as a person, can give you hope. That is the only thing beyond this world, beyond words, that is of spiritual nature. You can give me hope, and I can give you hope. That's, you know how important that is, that two fucked up people can give themselves something that transcends life itself, that is this most beautiful, hopeful thing that makes you want to strive to go on.
Yeah, man, absolutely. When I first started this, got out here, it was weird because I brought something different to Washington, PA. Nobody had a vision like this, but nobody can just jump on here and really do this if God don't give you this vision, because you'll be doing self-will, right? So I lived off of self-will my whole life, and like it was weird, man. Like I went to the city mission, I got involved with Doug and them. I don't think he'll care about the breaking his anonymity, but Doug, he's well known. And like I just watched him, dude. I watched him, and I was like, "Yo, it's something about this dude that's attracting to me, right?" So I kept watching him, and he was like, "We're really worried about you, like, because your anger, like, you're a high profile on the city mission, like, you're going to do big things." And I'm like, "What is he talking about? That shit's weird to me, right?" So God said, "It's something." Something said. God said, I went on the bunk, and he was like, "Why don't you tell your story on YouTube or something?" So I just hit the button on live, right? Back in 2018, in like September, I brought Dino onto the show. got into this relationship, got my feelings hurt. Make a long story short, manipulated my way into my girl's house. And at the end of the day, built a relationship with her baby's dad, something I would never do if I wasn't trying to do something better and something positive, like build a relationship and like make the relationship look attractive to like build a relationship with her son and like do this stuff for her son, right? To show her that I really want to be with her. And it just started reaching people, bro, from Canada, New Zealand, Australia, Ireland, Africa, Spain. It's almost in every state. Like I tell people, if there's one person on here watching, man, like it don't matter how many people's on here, bro. Somebody's getting something out of it. You know what I mean?
Carl, you know what I was thinking when you were talking about the mission is, you know how you'll see that one person and you're like, oh, this dude's a hot mess. This chick is a wreck. But they got so much charisma and they have so much to offer. And you're just like, if you could just shake that shit out of their head, like if they would just stop doing this, if they just gave as much of a shit about their self as they did other people and took care of their self a little bit, and you just want to grab them and fucking shake them because you're like, you have so much potential.
Yeah, dude.
There's so many good things. That's why it's so weird, like, to be in your position in the mission, or like I may have been before, is that we can't see what we're worth because all we do is we sit and review our wrongs. And then other people can see the good in you or me or someone because we're filled with our shortcomings and we're filled with our past. But other people can see the good in us. And you just know, if there's anybody that is listening, if you feel like a wretch and you're the worst of the worst, or you fucked up and you got loaded 20 times and you can't stay clean, you have no idea. There is just this chance that you think you're lost and you think there ain't a damn thing that you could do. I've seen the people that were the most fucked up, hopeless causes come back and be the most powerful fucking force that I've ever seen at helping other people in recovery.
Yeah, man. Like, I remember one time, man, when I was like at the end of the road, man, like no hope, broken, low self-worth to the max, at the bottom of the bottom, like living under a bridge, washing my boxers out. And like I said, how I got here is what I said. People showed up. They was like, you know what time it is, treatment, you know what I mean? But I just lay it all out, man. I don't got nothing to hide, man. It ain't nothing to hide, because you hide some shit. That's when the devil's really got you comfortable. God's like, get uncomfortable in order to grow, right? So, you know, I went to treatment, man, and got these certificates and shit. Leadership, community, senior client. And they were just starting this in Cold Forge. And it was like, it's just something about you. And I came up with this vision too, but I didn't proceed with it when I got to the city mission. So I came out with that clothing line. Like I said, man, I left the city mission on self-will, but I accepted God. That was what I was missing. There's the hope right there, right? So that's why I couldn't stay clean in 05. I couldn't stay clean in 09. I was missing that God piece, bro. And the city mission helped me with God, man. It just did. You know what I mean? And like this where we're at today, man. Like 5/18/18 is my clean date, man. And like if you ain't impressed about it, disease of addiction is, if you ain't doing the work, sure impressed about taking your clean date. And when I hit desperation, man, when in my bottom, man, like at the end of the road, like shame and guilt, of like taking my grandmother, you know, for $30,000 some dollars in debt, man, like writing that on my step work, like released it. I mean, I'm still kind of new at the step work process, but like the experience that you get out of the process of doing step work and the freedom that you get, the people that do the work get the freedom. I don't know if you can identify with that. We just don't come in recovery and get a girl and like thinking shit's gonna be all Gucci.
But you get a girl and you realize all those other problems you couldn't foresee, like when you don't do the dishes and she's looking at you like, you lazy asshole. And you're like, oh, man.
Yeah, I fall in the category. Like sometimes a lot of times I do get lazy, man, and I don't got nothing to hide on there. And that's why I think a lot of people watch me and shit. You know what I mean? I mean, I can get, but I like sometimes, bro, like I told you, I don't wake up all spiritual. I don't always wake up. Sometimes I wake up a true dickhead, but at the end of the day, man, like my girl told me, like you gonna work a program, and I hate it. And the fellowship, I'm about to say the name, but I hated the fellowship. I got resentments, and God said, look, man, you just humble down, surrender, and just try this. And I believe it's all throughout our literature for a reason, right?
Well, that's why that 4-step that you're on right now. I mean, now I don't hold any resentments. I mean, I get some, but I don't hold on to it no more. And in your step 4, you start seeing your part, and you start seeing
The pattern.
why you are resentful. Like, even if it was justifiably, it's a justifiable wrong to you. There's some part that we play. Like, even if it's my ego or just my perspective on the way that this went down, the only thing that needs to change is the way that I'm dealing with it. You know, the best thing I ever heard was in this lead on YouTube, and the guy was talking about codependency. And he was like, and I told her, he's like, I told my wife or whatever. It's like Adam T.
Yeah.
And he's like, whenever you die, does their life flash before your eyes? And I laughed. And, you know, it's my perspective as to why I'm feeling this way, because they're not feeling that way. I mean, they might be sitting there like, good for you. Like, I'm glad you're whining about the shit. I'm glad that I'm in your head. But the one thing you were saying about waking up feeling however, my favorite thing in the books is in step 11, and it talks about praying for power. And then I wake up in the morning, and for most of my recovery, I would wake up full of anxiety because I either woke up late for work or I forgot to do something yesterday, and that's what my 10th step's for. And then I can make amends for those things and try not to make the same mistake again. But if I'm waking up and feeling this way, I always tell my buddies, like, I envision things this way. If I'm walking down a road and I'm walking down the yellow lines on the road, there's 2 sidewalks on the side. And if my side of the street, my sidewalk clean, I'm cool. But if I see some garbage laying over there, that's my shit. And I put it there and I need to clean it. But then if I look on the other side of the street, so mine's clean, but there's all this garbage on their side of the street, that's not my fault. And I have to be able to identify what's my shit and what's theirs. And that's what step 4 is for. And if I continue to walk down that straight line, somewhere in this dirty street, this city, and it's ugly, and there's garbage laying around, there's some steps at the end of the road. And if I walk up the steps, I can get to this nice place where there's sunshine and everything's beautiful. But that's how I take my inventory. What kind of shit's laying around on my sidewalk?
Yeah. Sometimes it's like when somebody's just coming in, it's best to just listen to them, dude. Listen what they had to say instead of thinking we know everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah, what I forgot though was, so if I'm waking up with this anxiety and I'm kind of scared to move on throughout the day or whatever, I got the program, I got a way out, I can pray, but also like through prayer and meditation, as life keeps stacking up and the days clean keep stacking up and the problems and the bills keep stacking up, I can pray for God's power to carry out his will in this. This ain't my life. This is God's life.
Yeah, I appreciate you though, man. I'm gonna go spend time with wifey. You probably about to go upstairs too, right?
All right, brother.
All right, man. Love you, man.
Love you, buddy. Have a good night.
Thank you, man. For real.
All right. Take
All
it
right,
easy.
brother. My man, 100 grand. Killed that thing tonight. Yeah, anything. Just listen, stay positive. Don't let nobody tell you that like you ain't worth nothing. All of you are worth it. All of you have a message. Pray for the people that's attacking people in the recovery community because they got nothing else better to do. Pray for the people that are just hating on people. You know, because I was one of them when I got to town. I just hated on people. Pray for the people that's sick in their head and just like don't know how to be positive. Pray for the people. Just pray, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like every response don't need a reaction. It's very important to do that. People are struggling out there in the world. I'm gonna drop the thing in the link if y'all want to get up on. We'll go up into that. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. And if you're willing to tell your story or share your experience, strength, and hope, let me know. We got a fast connection now. It's really good. Appreciate y'all, man. Love you, Grandma, so much. Pray for the people. It's attacking, you know, because God don't like evil. I'm going to pray us out. Lord Almighty God, I just want you to place hands and rebuke and rebind any evil spirit trying to attack any platform that's of God and doing the right thing, and pray for the people that's in the treatment center, just full of negative, full of anxiety, and don't want to stay there, and they want to find a new way of life. They just place that on their heart, Lord God, and prayers go out to the people that's in this community, doing satanic things and evil things and bashing people and putting people out there, Lord God. Just change their heart, Lord, and just be with them people. Amen. Love y'all. Y'all have a blessed night. Appreciate it. The new bracelets will be in. Big things are coming on Inspirational Freestyle Recovery Flow. New clothing is going to be out. If y'all would like to purchase anything, shirts will be out. We'll be taking orders soon. I'm waiting on the heat. Got the heat press. I'm waiting on everything to fall together on the cutter, the vinyl cutter. And you know, I want to thank the brother Ricky C, man, that sent that, man, making everything possible. And it's a blessing, man. It's a blessing, man. God loves all you people, man. I appreciate all you just getting on here. Y'all have a blessed night. When in doubt, reach out.